All right, Steve, 15 minutes before the top of the hour. A lot of news this week, as you know, from the president calling for a leaner, meaner military to the architect of the CIA's interrogation program, James Mitchell, for the first time speaking out. So we wanted to know, how did they resonate with the American voter? So let's ask one of the pros. Lee Carter's here from Maslansky and Partners. Lee, welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
All right, the first topic we gave you was James Mitchell going on with Megyn Kelly, talking about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and the message he got. Do you want to take a quick look?
Absolutely.
All right, let's watch, and then we'll see the dials.
The time of deploying large
2.0, folks, ISIL, that we're divided and that we're easy targets, that we don't have the will to defeat them, because that's what they know. In fact, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed told me personally, your country will turn on you. The liberal media will turn on you. The people will grow tired of this. They will turn on you. And when they do, you are going to be abandoned.
So this is a really interesting look here. Overall, folks gave him a B-, and here's the reason. It's really hard to say give somebody a positive grade when the dials dip like that, but this was something that's really hard to dial to positively. So people were really, really terrified at this idea. He did a really good job explaining what the problem was. The one issue that people had with it was that he talked about the liberal media. And in some ways that discredited him, because as people, sometimes as soon as people hear that term, they're saying he's got an axe to grind rather than saying this is something that you
50% of the country say, hey, wait a second, did he really say that? But,
exactly.
Man, was that a credible interview overall. Here's the president in New Jersey speaking to the troops to kind of thank them for their service on the holiday season. And let me see how his message of a leaner military played out.
The time of deploying large ground forces with big military footprints to engage in nation building overseas, that's coming to an end. And going forward, our military will be leaner, but as your commander-in-chief, I'm going to make sure we keep you ready for the range of missions that we ask of you.
So we see two colors there.
Yeah, certainly what we saw there is one of the biggest divides I've seen in a while. So for Democrats, we give this for a B, and for Republicans, we give this a D. Really, really big divide. And I think the reason is, obviously, we've got different ideas on what should happen. I think that on the Republican side, they want to reserve the right to continue to have ground troops. For everybody else, they say this is just fine. But the bottom line is, this time of year, people do want to come home, want the troops to come home. So overall, it was an okay message. I think as a language geek, one of the things that we really liked is they talked about a leaner military instead of a smaller military. But overall, still, it didn't do anything for the Republicans.
Right. For those who wanted to look inside the words, a small military for a superpower doesn't really make us feel more secure. Now, yesterday, Josh Earnest was asked to respond to the North Korean being behind the hack attacks for Sony. I just want to play this soundbite and tell me what you think about his message, and if you think that we're sending the right one out to our would-be hackers.
I have indicated that we believe that this destructive activity merits an appropriate response, but I would acknowledge that an appropriate response is something that is not always obvious, but is something that is worthy of careful consideration, and that's exactly what the President's National Security Team is doing.
Okay, a whole lot of nothing, but you grade it?
I graded it a B-, because after talking to a lot of folks about this, people were able to see whatever they wanted to, and if they thought this was going to be a tough response, it was going to be a tough response. If they thought they were going to be cautious, this was a cautious response. The only thing is, there are a lot of people that said he should have just stopped and not gone into the rest of it. Like what they really said was, it's a whole lot of nothing. So it means anything to anybody unless you really want to understand what's going on.
Right. So that's what he's supposed to do as a press secretary. Head fakes. Lee Carter, thanks so much. Very insightful, and it's a real busy week in the world of news, as we saw. All right, Lee, good job.